Because we're just about 5 days away from getting Pottermore. Or is it more Potter? This is MuggleCast, episode 231 for June 18th, 2011.
This week's episode of MuggleCast is brought to you by Audible.com, the internet's leading provider of audiobooks with more than 75,000 downloadable titles across all types of literature, including fiction, nonfiction, and periodicals. For a free audiobook of your choice, go to audiblepodcast.com/MuggleCast. And by Hypable.com, a MuggleNet for the rest of the fandoms in the world and created by MuggleNet staff. Visit Hypable.com for thorough and up-to-the-minute coverage around The Hunger Games, Glee, Doctor Who, The Hobbit, and many more. That's Hypable.com. HYPABLE.com. Welcome to MuggleCast, episode 231. It is a big episode. I think it's fair to say this may be one of the biggest episodes we've done in a long time. And to talk about the news that's been going on over the past couple of weeks, we have here Micah, Eric, Matt, and of course, your fantastic host, me!
Yay!
And we're not doing chapter by chapter this week because, like I said, there's a lot of news. There's too much news, and this episode may be, close to 2 hours.
Oh no!
Even without chapter by chapter. So, I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Eric Skull.
I'm Micah Tannenbaum.
And I'm Matthew Britton.
Micah, what is in the news this week?
Not a thing.
Not a thing? Then we should have had chapter by chapter.
Yeah, we're going to get emails.
It's been a very busy news week. Let's start with the mysterious Pottermore.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew, you were involved in this whole process of revealing the name, and tell us a little bit about it. I mean, what you can, obviously, and how it all came about.
Yeah, I'll run through what happens, or what's happened over the past week. Basically, J.K. Rowling, this new project she has, Pottermore, clearly she wanted to get the fan sites involved. So, on Tuesday of this past week, multiple fan sites each had a coordinate for fans to punch into a map. And when you punched in the coordinates, like you're a little hacker, you punch in these GPS coordinates, it brings you to a location important to Joe/the Harry Potter world. And you go into Street View, and you could see a giant letter there. Now, it's not actually there. It was virtually inserted. So anyway, there were 10 of these coordinates, made up 10 letters. People slowly got each letter. They weren't in order. You had to put them together yourself. And they revealed the name of this project called Pottermore. And, fans were really excited. Then the next day, all the fan sites, as well as a lot of official sites, such as Bloomsbury, Scholastic, the official Harry Potter movie website, and a bunch of Harry Potter fan sites, all added these banners that say, "The Owls are gathering." And you can click them, you can click the banner, and it brings you to a YouTube page, which is counting down to June 23rd, where J.K. Rowling will be making a momentous announcement on YouTube. And if you notice, these banners guys are really clever because more and more owls are showing up by the day on the banner. It's kind of
who's cleaning up after them?
Yeah, that's a real question.
You never see under the tree.
Oh no, you see the poop. It's showing up on the MuggleNet design right below it.
Oh, and you can mouse over it, and what will happen?
Well, Micah,
you sweep it up.
You know those guys who stole the Harry Potter books and leaked them early in past years, at gunpoint and stuff? I bet there's community services they have to clean up after those owls.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fitting punishment.
The fan sites have worked, one representative from multiple fan sites has worked with J.K. Rowling's people on putting this together. I was lucky enough to represent MuggleNet. I did get a sneak preview of Pottermore. Obviously, I can't say what it is, and I hate being that guy who's like, I know what it is, but I'm not telling you. So, I will say, it is really cool, and no, just kidding. I want to hear the theories from you guys. Obviously, everybody's trying to speculate. What the hell is J.K. Rowling announcing? I gotta say, the name is awesome, because people love hearing Pottermore, more Potter. Like, that's what they want to hear right now.
Is it Pottermore or is it more Potter?
No, it is Pottermore.
Obviously, it's Pottermore. So, what does that mean? What is Pottermore?
But technically speaking, that's more Potter, so...
It's not more Potter, though.
Yeah.
It's Pottermore.
Well,
for some reason, I keep connecting Pottermore with Paramore.
yes, and I hate that. Somebody said that to me the other day, and now all I think of is, whatever makes you brave.
So how about this title for J.K. Rowling's next project? This is the next project. This is the next thing she's doing since completing the Harry Potter books. Pottermore.
And when you think about it, it comes at such a good time when Warner Brothers, the 4 words coming out of their mouth is, it all ends here.
And sometimes just it all ends.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
And J.K. Rowling turns around and says, well, not really.
Yeah, right. Warner Brothers is like, come on.
Yeah.
We're trying to market the end here, and you're saying there's
Yeah,
more.
what did you guys think about that, though? I mean, she makes this huge announcement right before the film comes out. Isn't she taking away from it a little bit, or do you think she's adding to it?
Well, the announcement is that there's going to be an announcement. You know, at this point, you know, it's so weird. People are saying JKR announces Pottermore, but we actually haven't heard from her. You know, the fan sites, we dealt with JKR's people, you know, doing these coordinates. We still actually haven't heard from Jo. She hasn't tweeted for the 7th time on her Twitter. She actually created a brand new, there's a Pottermore Twitter to handle Pottermore stuff. So, you know, we haven't heard from Jo yet. I'm itching to actually hear what she has to say about this. I can't wait for the announcement.
So, Micah, what do you speculate Pottermore could be?
Well, I would think that it has some tie to the encyclopedia, because that's the only thing that we know that she's going to be working on that is related to Potter. That's definite. She has stated that she would do an encyclopedia at some point in the future. So I'm not sure how it ties in, or, you know, if there's more to it, but I do think it has something to do with the encyclopedia.
How about you, Eric?
Well, we can assume that it does have to do with Harry Potter, right? Because it's called Pottermore,
yes.
Obviously. So, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. It's online. Whatever it is, it's online. And I think, Andrew, even in your post, you said it's not a new Harry Potter book. This announcement is not a new Harry Potter book. So it's something online. And, you know, I just feel like it's going to be, either a resource or just a really cool place, you know, with content from Jo. Like an online, somehow she's gonna work, you know, a way into providing new content, much like she used to do on her own website, but it'll be themed and it will have, you know, certain, rules to it, and maybe it'll be like an online, community, because just looking at the logo that was released on, I think it's the YouTube channel, you know, it looks kind of, I don't want to say cartoony, but it looks like it's supposed to be something that's inviting a lot of people to come partake in this experience. This is what I gathered from it. So I think it'll be an online, like a place where Harry Potter fans can gather, and there'll be new, directly from Jo Potter content.
How about you, Matt?
All I really know is that it has to be a companion to the original series, because I don't really know, because the name really throws me off. Because to be honest, it's a weird name.
Yeah,
it's a weird title for anything.
Yeah,
Pottermore.
And this is the woman who gave us Xenophilius Lovegood, Rufus Scrimgeour, Daedalus Diggle. I mean, are other names that she pulled out of a hat. For crying out loud. Pottermore? I'm not sold on it. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I keep thinking either Paramore or The Raven with Nevermore. Never. So, I think you're right, Eric. It probably will be something online, because the fact is that she made Pottermore one word together, so it would be easy to put on a website or something. It's just, to think of it as I really hope it's not an encyclopedia, because I want, like, a 10-word title for the encyclopedia, like the realization that the Harry Potter world is over companion, the Encyclopedia of Harry Potter, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Instead of Pottermore.
Yeah, well, Pottermore is like just one word, nice and simple, so it seems like it would be easy to put on a website.
Well, I've always argued too. Look, there is an online encyclopedia for Harry Potter. It's called the Lexicon. Well, what it is though, it's a summary of, or it's all the facts that exist in the already existing Harry Potter books are compiled. And
well,
Eric, do you think that it might be a social network though?
Well, it could be.
I mean, a lot of people have thought they were really clever by digging up the trademark. And one of the things that the trademark for Pottermore covers is, some legal verbiage like, a computer-to-computer social network, blah, 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 blah. And everybody was like, oh, it must mean it's a social network.
Well, what does it say? What does it say specifically? What's the trademark?
But do you think people will actually, do you think if it was a social network, do you really think it'll stand on its own and last? I mean, we've seen a lot of these kind of things.
But it's coming from Joe.
It's coming from Joe. Okay, but then but if it does, even if it did come from Joe, only like the hardcore Harry Potter fans will go on it.
I'll be the pessimist. I'll say no, it wouldn't last. I don't think so. And because you're going to have to be providing content to it on such a regular basis. And I don't know, maybe it's something where she consistently releases information about the Potter series over a period of time, but even then, how long can that go on for? Unless it's already pre-programmed into the site to release at certain dates.
That's the thing. Wasn't Pottermore, the trademark was trademarked like 3 years ago. Wasn't
it? Yeah, it was like in 2008.
That name. Yeah, so she was set on that name so for very long. She must really like it. Well, the other thing is we don't know what it's for. So I hope final thing about the name for me, I hope it fits the content. I'm sure it will. Obviously it will. Because
she did announce that it's going to be just as good as a new book.
Well, was that J.K. Rowling or Andrew Sims? Which one said it was going to be just as good?
That the news post that was made on MuggleNet and multiple fan sites was the verbiage that J.K. Rowling's people wanted us to use. Exactly. Wow. We couldn't change it. So
just as exciting.
Just as exciting as, it's not a book, but we believe it to be just as exciting.
Well,
the trademark, by the way, just to throw it out there, is, quote, providing multiple user access to a global computer information network, online chat rooms, and electronic bulletin boards for transmission of messages among users in the field of general interest, and online facilities for real-time interaction with other computer users concerning topics of general interest. So it's a very broad statement.
I hear forums, I hear, chat rooms, I hear maybe online, like MuggleNet Interactive or Leaky has an interactive, don't they? Where you go and buy spells and stuff. I hear all that stuff in that trademark, but
I really hope it's not, because I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad idea at all. I'm just saying to say it's just as exciting as a new.
Well,
you don't think a chat room's just as exciting as a new book?
No, because there's a million chat rooms.
But it's Joe.
More than a million.
It's Joe. Most chat rooms have creepers in it. Maybe there are anti-creeper charms placed on this site.
What if Joe announces she's going to be in the chat room 24/7? Would that be an exciting development? Before we continue with today's episode of MuggleCast, we'd like to remind you that this episode is brought to you by Audible.com, the internet's leading provider of audiobooks with more than 75,000 downloadable titles across all types of literature and featuring audio versions of many New York Times bestsellers. For listeners of this podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook to give you a chance to try out their great service. One audiobook to consider is The Hunger Games, the first in a trilogy of the same name. The series is hotter than ever right now because filming for the movie adaptation recently got underway. It's one book and film series you are not going to want to miss. So, for a free audiobook of your choice, such as The Hunger Games, go to audiblepodcast.com/MuggleCast. Again, that's audiblepodcast.com/MuggleCast.
Well, what could anything be as exciting as a Harry Potter book? Let's be realistic.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
What can be as exciting as a new Harry Potter book, other than another Harry Potter book?
Well, I think a good gauge on the interest in this is by looking at the Twitter and YouTube numbers for the respective Pottermore channels. On Twitter, there are 60,000 followers already, and that's in about 4 or 5 days. And, the YouTube has over 1 million views. Keep in mind, there's not even a video on it yet. It has 1 million views, and it's already getting a lot of honors on YouTube. It's the most subscribed all time in the United Kingdom for the week. It now has 28,000 subscribers. Is that a good number? I mean, I guess it's good without actually hearing an announcement from Joe yet.
So the first thing, it is good because people don't know what it is and they're still clicking onto it. So that's the popularity that it's gotten because of her name, or because of our passion, more specifically. But it's also, that's the one thing about doing a web project and not a book project. What about the disadvantaged children who don't have internet?
Oh, that's true.
How are they going to? I'm not, I feel bad for the disadvantaged children.
No, that's a great point. If you want to reach as many people as possible, you put out a book. It's what made the book so successful. If J.K. Rowling did online books back in 2000, it wouldn't have worked out as well.
Well, she wants to reach out the same fan base that read her books. Therefore, it's people who love to read books. So it has. I mean, I would hope that she would put into consideration, encompassing that part of her fandom is the ones who read the books the most.
And a book is something you can read at the beach.
Well, I could do that with my Kindle too.
Maybe it's a new
Kindle
version of an
e-reader.
e-reader.
That's the thing. Okay, so look, with the Kindle, okay, the J.K. Rowling's last project, which was Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, came out 4 summers ago and was #1 highest selling on Amazon until for 150 weeks until it was replaced by the Kindle. Ebook reader.
Top selling item on Amazon, it was Harry Potter until
for years until the Kindle. And so, we live in a world now where 4 years later, Borders is closing. All of its stores, most of its stores. Borders closing. Bookstores are failing. The only person, the White Knight who could save them, J.K. Rowling, whose books are guaranteed to sell, is the person whose books are guaranteed to sell chooses to do a web format instead of a new Harry Potter book. Is she contributing to the decline of the book?
Now, in fairness, it hasn't been announced what exactly this is, so nobody knows. Well, it has.
Aside from you.
But you said it's not a book.
And several other webmasters.
I'm trying to word this properly. It hasn't been announced whether or not okay, fair enough. She says it's not a book, but we don't know for sure if it's just online or what exactly it is. So just keep that in mind while you're putting down Joe.
Well, if it's not online,
I don't mean to put her down.
Why is there a website registered? Why is there a Twitter account?
A Twitter, and she doesn't use Twitter for her. If it wasn't a project she would work on, she's not going to use Twitter. And, we know that
she doesn't even use her own Twitter.
Yeah,
but
she
who's to
doesn't
say
use her own Twitter.
Pottermore just isn't an informational site, just like HarryPotter.com is an informational site for the movies.
No, JKRowling.com was supposed to be an information site, and she put fun into it. Because, it used to be an information site, and she made it more fun.
Anything about information I want as an encyclopedia. I want it physically in my hand.
So is Pottermore... Will Pottermore extend the life of the Harry Potter fandom? I know it's early to say because we don't know exactly what it is.
It's a little too early.
But is Pottermore...
Why don't you tell us, Andrew?
Will Pottermore live up to its name?
What are your thoughts, Andrew? You're hearing from us, but we'd like to hear from you.
Yeah.
If you were a betting man, would you say that?
No, I'm not doing that. There's no room to mess around with that.
Well, the other thing, though, that Joe did talk about with respect to the encyclopedia, this was a while back, was that it was going to be for charity. And, unless she's charging some fee for people to use whatever Pottermore is going to be, then how are you generating any sort of money for charity?
Well, if you're generating money, you can donate to charity. You can, and we know that, Joe Rowling can match anything she gets to charity, or just give money to charity any day anyway. I mean, I don't think that's a real concern. I mean, no, it's true.
Well, no, the point is, if this is the encyclopedia, let's say, she did mention that the whole idea behind it was that the money was going to go to charity. So when you think encyclopedia, you think, like Matt was saying, a physical book, so that the proceeds end up going to charity.
Well, my point in bringing up the lexicon as an online encyclopedia was that I never liked us calling this next book from Joe that we expected an encyclopedia, because what it's going to be is backstory, like never before seen. It's not a collection of information. It is, but it's a collection of new information. You know, she's producing this entire history. This new history. And that's what we were, expecting in book form. If she does it online, I don't really see why it would be, harder, except less people are online. The books are farther reaching for now than ebooks. But is it a sign of the changing time?
Are you referring to are you saying that it's going to be in ebook fashion?
Well, no, I'm saying if Pottermore involves, releasing new information about the Harry Potter series, which really is, I don't think it's a stretch. Because she named it Potter. She could have named it something else entirely. I actually didn't expect her next project or her next 5 projects to have anything to do with Harry Potter. I would have still bought them and read them and got excited about them just because it's her and we know that she can write. The fact that it's Potter related really begs the question. There is no question. She's going to release more information that extends the canon or that extends the Potter series. So, yeah, I don't see, anything that she releases is new information, and I don't think she's going to create all new characters. So, yeah, she is really, going to tell us more. So this is, I guess, the web version of, an encyclopedia book or a history, a new history for the Harry Potter characters.
All right. Well, I think we can leave it at that. Again, J.K. Rowling will be making her YouTube announcement June 23rd. I don't think there's an exact time. So, I'm sure they have one in mind, but I don't think we know it yet.
It might be leaked before it even.
It's not going to leak.
Well, wait, we didn't go into how exactly she did this. The scavenger hunt thing. Did you guys play? Did you guys go
I did,
find...
yeah. I was excited because it kind of took me back to when she used to reveal things on her website. And,
with a do not disturb
I got
sign?
kind of pissed off that somebody hacked the site a day earlier and revealed everything, because I thought they kind of cheapened the whole announcement and what it was that she was trying to do. Now, one would hope that you could protect against that kind of thing, but I guess they didn't think it was going to happen.
No, and it wasn't even so much a hack, just that a clever person could view the page source and click around a little bit and find the code where it has all the letters and the locations. So it was just in the code of the site. And, that happens all the time. I guess it was...
But why not update the site until the following day at least? Have those 3 coordinates for day 1. But
yeah, were they not expecting
not
it?
Update the site until the following day. This way nobody can find them.
But you could still find them in the code, and it was getting around on the internet. I'm glad that they just let us post the rest of them, because in the meantime, all these other sites who aren't partners were just releasing all the letters and what they presumed to be the name of the project. So it would have been bad for, MuggleNet and all the other sites, because we would have been stuck being like, okay, only 3 letters are out. In the meantime, all these other sites are like, here's all 10 letters. It's Pottermore.
Okay. So it was supposed to be a 2-day event, right? Where they would release coordinates, and it was half a day. I didn't actually get to play the scavenger hunt. I was at work from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. that day.
You can still play it.
By 5 p.m. Really?
Still punch in the coordinates, yeah.
Okay. To be honest, I heard J.K. Rowling had this huge announcement, and I was like, and that she wasn't giving it away, and that it was still going to be a week, and I was like, I am too old for that. That was my first thought. But
here's the other thing to keep in mind. What's been exciting about this is this is the first time Twitter has been around when J.K. Rowling has made an announcement. And why I bring it up is because it was interesting to see people's reactions on a social media service like Twitter, where you're getting these initial reactions from people freaking out.
In real time.
In real time, right, as people are discovering the letters. And, you looked on the Twitter trends, and the phrases more Potter and Pottermore came up pretty quickly after the first couple of letters were discovered. And it was just fun because then we asked on the MuggleNet Twitter, what do you guys think Pottermore is? And we were getting answers by the second. I mean, I was just sitting there watching the replies come in. The Mac application lets you watch them come in real time, and it was fast and furious. And it was just really exciting seeing the fans react that way. And, you know, before Twitter, you could watch a chat room, but everybody is on Twitter at the same time these days, you know, especially when big news is happening. So it was really fun to watch the community react.
So the Pottermore Twitter did release the 10th coordinate, right?
Yeah,
was that supposed to happen?
It was supposed to happen, but we knew the 10th letter anyway because of that little hack.
Okay, so the 10th partner was the Pottermore Twitter, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. But we knew it because of that. Well, I'm glad she still went ahead of it. You know, it says a lot about J.K. Rowling, too, because Stephanie Meyer, who was writing, you know, the book one of Twilight from Edward's perspective, the book was called Midnight Sun, she got hacked. And some of that book was released online, and she gave up. Mm-hmm. I mean, quote me if I'm wrong, but she was very upset.
To be fair to Stephanie, though, I mean, a book leak is different than a title leak.
It was a couple chapters, though.
Yes.
I read that part of Midnight Sun, though, and it was awesome. It is above and beyond. It's like my favorite thing that she's written, and I would really love her to continue
Eric Skull, a Twihard. Look at this.
A Twihard. I've read it all, but Midnight Sun is really, really good. And it was just so disheartening to see that a few fans could really spoil it for everybody. And I'm so relieved that that's not the case with Jo, that she's still going ahead with whatever this Pottermore thing is. You know, Andrew, you said I was putting down Jo earlier by saying she contributed to the decline of the book, or might be contributing to the decline of the book. But, you know, now I'm just going to say I think it's really cool that she's still going ahead, that she powered through, and that we're still getting this announcement. And, you know, the most exciting thing about Pottermore, we don't know what it is, but it's coming from Jo.
How did really anything get spoiled, though? All they did was just basically reveal what really any hacker could have found out. I mean, it wasn't like that big of a secret. It was just a little bit of fun to find out what the title was.
Well, it was just that the information was released a lot earlier, I think, than what they anticipated.
It was a day, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, fortunately, they only plan to release the name this week, right? You know, they didn't have the whole package.
To be honest, I'm kind of glad that they did it all within one day, even though it wasn't intended.
Yeah, 2 days to me, because everybody was on Twitter like, oh my god, when's the fourth letter coming out? When's the fourth letter coming out? And the fourth letter wasn't supposed to come out till the following day, so all these poor people are like waiting for a fourth letter, and if it hadn't been hacked, it wouldn't have come.
It wouldn't. Well, it also would have lost a lot of steam too. After 2 days.
So they were only going to release 3 letters on day 1 and 7 letters on day 2? Why not do 5 and 5?
I don't know. Pull each one of my teeth out.
Because you got to have the Hallows and the Horcruxes.
Ah, of course. Okay.
No, I'm just joking. But no, it was cool. I was just going to say, like, if you actually went to the map, the places that you were taken to were places that were, you know, had some sort of tie to the series, and there was a little graphic there, if you waited long enough, that popped up and described to you, you know, what its reference was to the series.
Yeah, that was cool.
Oh, cool.
Let's move on now to the other big story of the week, Micah, which is the Deathly Hallows Part 2 trailer. I don't know. I don't think Warner Brothers knew that J.K. Rowling was making this Pottermore announcement at the same time, so I think this was kind of, you know, unintentional for 2 big news items to happen in 1 week. But hey, you know, it was a good week for the fans.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's what I guess we could call the final Potter trailer ever for a movie. I'm sure there'll be other stuff that is released later on for DVDs and Blu-rays and other things like that, but
right.
This is it. This is the last trailer you'll ever see for a Harry Potter film.
And it really was, honestly, the best trailer. I mean, it told a story, which I really loved about it.
Mm-hmm. It was a proper trailer.
Yeah, but all the other instead of saying that this trailer is the best because of that, all the other trailers were not as cool because of
which
that.
Which is true.
Is what I prefer to say.
But that's okay.
They should have done what they did with this trailer with all the other trailers, except the one thing they did do was they showed too much. This trailer shows way too much.
You're one of those people?
Well, he's not the only one to say that. let's and that's coming from someone who saw the movie. So imagine the people who haven't seen the movie, you know, what they're thinking. You know, there are a lot of recycled scenes that in this trailer that were in previous trailers. So for the sake of time and sanity, let's just try to focus on the new clips. And there are quite a few in this trailer.
Thank God.
And if you're listening at home, you can load up the trailer and you can kind of move along with us. We'll give the timestamp of each scene that we're talking about, so you too can watch what we are discussing here on MuggleCast.
Unless you promised yourself that you weren't going to see any of the trailers and want to be surprised when you see it in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's good considering, to be perfectly honest, like, stay away from this trailer if you don't want to be spoiled.
Because, you haven't read
the books or anything, so you don't know what's going to happen.
You don't know what happens.
Look, even if, okay, no, it's not like that at all.
I agree, Eric.
Because the question is, how are they going to adapt it? And this trailer answers all those questions. All the pivotal moments of the book, are in this trailer, and that matters not because you've already read the book, so you know what's going to happen, but because the film adaptation is the definitive film version is just as important.
You see 2 minutes of a 2.5 hour film.
2 hours.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
The most emotionally charged scenes from the film are in the trailer. Having already seen the trailer, you will go into the film and it will feel less fulfilling.
Well, I have never felt less fulfilled.
Let's discuss it anyway.
I don't agree with that.
At 9 seconds, it's the opening shot of the trailer, and we see Lily Potter talking to baby Harry.
Harry, be safe. Be strong.
And it's a very eerie start to the trailer because we see baby Harry and his mother. And I think, it's the first time we've ever heard anything coming out of his mother's mouth. Other than, this is the only time.
Yeah.
Or the first time. My question is, why didn't they use the same baby who was in Sorcerer's Stone?
Because he's probably 12 at this time right now.
I was just going to say.
Well, let's do a Benjamin Button on that kid and get this right.
I thought they did a good job finding a kid who looks sort of like the kid
right.
a decade ago.
I was going to ask you guys, isn't this the same kid? I mean, to be honest.
It is pretty close.
Could they have, it's close. It's just that close. I was like, oh my God, that's Harry Potter.
So at 14 seconds, we see a title that says Every Moment He's Lived, and there's these flashback shots. Sorcerer's Stone, experiencing his wand for the first time, the boats riding to Hogwarts for the first time, Harry seeing the Patronus in Prisoner of Azkaban, and Harry and Dumbledore, about to enter the cave and Half-Blood Prince. And this is part of the thing I liked about this trailer, is it is telling a story. There is this little review. Not even so much a review, but kind of these clips lend to the build-up of this epic moment. All these great moments he's had.
Has led to this.
Right, as the next title says at 23 seconds. At 24 seconds, we see the Quidditch pitch from Half-Blood Prince, and we see it, during happier times. Then it transitions to this flying shot of during the Battle of Hogwarts when it's going down in flames.
And I just realized this too while I'm trying to follow along. That in the background you can see Hogwarts Castle getting attacked.
Yeah, you can see the spells trying to penetrate the protective charms. Spells.
Charms.
So I guess they wanted a new Quidditch pitch anyway because they didn't put a bubble over that.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure it'd be easier to make since they destroyed it for the maze in Book 4.
Yeah, I don't think it was as important to protect the Quidditch pitch.
I don't know. Somebody somewhere is very upset.
At 30 seconds, we see a worried Harry Potter. It was kind of a clip we've seen before in other trailers. There are more review shots, and at 41 seconds, I don't know is this new? Is this new?
Yeah,
or
this is new.
Okay.
This is definitely new.
41 seconds, we see Dementors kind of hovering over Hogwarts Castle, trying to get in, right?
Right. That's what I think too, because they're all like at a certain proximity from them.
I don't think they're trying to get in because there's no bubble over Hogwarts. I feel like this is an early shot of Hogwarts like under the Death Eater's rule. Like during while Harry and Hermione are in the woods. This is kind of the...
Eric, are you trying to say that this is when Snape is headmaster?
Snape is headmaster.
Before he flees.
Exactly. Yeah.
And the protective charm gets put up.
So the protective charm isn't put up yet. because because there's no use for it at this point right now.
Right, the Death Eaters or the Carrows are torturing students, and Snape is allowing that to happen. And this is kind of, in the previous trailer, I referred to it as a military state where Hogwarts is very, not a happy place. I feel like the Dementors being stationed at Hogwarts is fitting with the kind of experience a student during that year would have at Hogwarts.
And also it's kind of influencing the weather a little bit too.
Oh, and Andrew, there was another scream, by the way, in case you're wondering.
You want to talk about that now? The first time I watched this trailer, I could not help noticing, as other people did too, people on Twitter brought it up, all the screams again with Voldemort. There are at least 10. And it's just, honestly, this trailer is fantastic, but it really distracted me. It bothered me a lot. It was all I could hear. And I blame that on Eric.
And I'm not apologizing. I've had a few people, reply me on Twitter saying, ever since you pointed out those screams on MuggleCast, ever since you guys pointed those out, now we just noticed them and we can't watch the trailer.
Yeah, it's all your fault, Eric.
You just didn't want people to watch the trailer because it spoiled too much.
You put the audio together for the trailer, clearly, and
clearly. No, I didn't.
Are
say
now
it, but
causing people to hear Voldemort saying "yeah" all the time.
Well, it's the same one we've been hearing since like book 5. I think is when he shouted that that now famous bit.
I think it was. Yeah, you're right.
When he was fighting Dumbledore.
But they're the ones using this in trailer. I'm not apologizing for pointing that scream out. Thank you, Andrew, for devoting enough time in the previous episode to count the screams. This is Warner Brothers' fault.
We do.
People, they're putting this insane Voldemort scream in like every 5 seconds in this trailer. There's a new wail, and it's the same wail.
At 43 seconds, we hear a little dialogue from Snape and Voldemort. It goes like this.
We've kept him alive so that he can die at the proper moment. Bring him to me.
So, viewers are getting this idea that what's going on is the reason Harry hasn't died until now is Voldemort has been waiting for just the right opportunity. And this film...
That's not Voldemort.
No,
that's Snape talking to Dumbledore. Yeah, that's continuity editing. Our brain thinks he's talking to Voldemort because the next shot is of Voldemort, but he's actually talking to Dumbledore. That's from Snape's worst memory. That's where, and in fact, one could see this as a complete spoiler that Harry does in fact need to die. Maybe not for good, but he at least needs to die once in order for everying to happen. They should not have shown Snape.
Well, not everybody's as clever
Dumbledore.
as you though, Eric.
Okay, fine.
Well, no, I was going to say that because there's other parts of this trailer which reveal certain things about characters. And we get to that in the Resurrection Stone scene. The fact that Remus dies is very much revealed in this trailer. But this scene with Voldemort, I wanted to ask you, Eric, because you've seen the film. When he's talking to Lucius, and is he talking about getting Harry or getting Snape?
He's talking about getting Snape.
Yeah,
that's
I feel another like misleading quote.
Yeah, because I don't think Lucius... Because they're in the boathouse and not the Shrieking Shack, so they changed that. And also Lucius, this whole scene, Lucius isn't in the Shrieking Shack from what I remember in Book 7, talking to Voldemort. Lucius and Voldemort, I don't even know that they have any kind of conversation.
Not in the book, anyway.
In the book. So this is the added scene of Jason Isaacs. But, at this point, as you see in the trailer, he's asking Lucius to go get Snape. I think right before that he asks him where Snape is. And this was after Snape has fled.
At 47 seconds, we see the trip down to the Lestrange vault. We've seen clips from this before, but if you notice this track that they're on, they're riding down deep in the Gringotts. I am telling you, this is going to be the next ride at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. I've been saying this for months, and now you look at this footage of this twisty, turny track. I can practically see Universal in the background of it. Like they're setting this up perfectly for a ride at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. That's all I'm saying about this.
Because it does look like a roller coaster.
Yes.
Line, yeah.
This is so gonna be a ride. It's not even funny. Like I feel like making a news post now on MuggleNet, just announcing it in advance.
Just saving a post for it.
See if anybody asks you to take it down.
Really. Yeah, exactly. If they ask me to take it down, then I must be onto something. So at 49 seconds, we see the dragon, and this is the part where he's already been let go by the trio, because you can see the trio on the back of the dragon. and the dragon is breaking a part of the track as he makes his way upward through Gringotts.
That's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the next scene, I think, there's definitely somebody on the back of him, because the next scene you see a cart flying off of the track because the dragon broke it.
Yeah, it's the goblins who are after him.
The chasing goblins. Well, and then you hear somebody else wail, which I won't get into. But as they fall down the pit at Gringotts. But
at 52 and 53, we see shots of Harry and Ron, and then at 53, we see them after they already broke out from Gringotts, riding on the back of the dragon. This looks like a very great scene, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, Hermione's still in Bellatrix's wardrobe.
Yeah.
And then you see the three of them plunge into the water.
Right, at 55 seconds. And we saw a brief version of this when we just saw people going into the water, as I accurately predicted on the last episode. This is when they jump off the dragon and land in the lake.
Right, and we actually see them falling in this trailer, which is cool. I like that shot.
56 seconds, we see on July 15th, and there's a beautiful, sweeping shot of all the Death Eaters on a cliff overlooking Hogwarts. We see them paving a way in the massive group to let Voldemort through to the top of the cliff to make his little warning to Harry.
You know, why don't we ever hear from any of these extras? Like, hey, I was an extra in Deathly Hallows when we ran to the Hogwarts.
They're not allowed to talk about it.
They're not allowed to talk to. They can't email us and be like, hey, not even afterwards?
Probably afterwards, but he wants to hear from extras.
The most they can really say is, I was actually included in this movie.
Okay. I was Death Eater number 47.
At the 1 minute mark, we see the entrance to the Great Hall, the statues coming to life.
Oh, man.
And we saw a different angle of this in the other trailer. But we also hear McGonagall with this line.
Man the boundaries, protect us!
God.
Hang on. I have to pull out my Scottish translator here. What? Man the
boundaries, protect us.
Okay.
She's not Scottish.
I'm going to have more to say about that particular shot when we can release our set reports. But we see McGonagall and Mrs. Weasley on the steps of Hogwarts, surrounded by the Hogwarts statues. Yeah, they've come to life because of McGonagall's spell. And it's a really cool scene.
God, every time I see McGonagall, I always get goosebumps for some reason.
Like, this is something where in the book it was an amazing scene, and you know, because it was you can just imagine it, you can picture it in your mind's eye, and now here it is in this trailer. We're seeing it before the film comes out. But
well,
we already
the adrenaline's really going now because it's like Hogwarts' last stand, and everything is coming to life.
Yeah, and Remus and Tonks, and the next scene are reaching for each other. It's really cool to build suspense.
At 1:06, we see Harry looking up at Hogwarts Castle burning. Now, this must be when he's down at the boathouse. I mean, the angle makes sense, right?
I don't remember that angle or that shot.
Well, it's just that
it is the boathouse because it's the same window panes.
Panes?
Panes, sorry.
Panes. Yeah.
Panes. Yeah, it's the same
okay.
window
Andrew
pane.
Andrew said gauge earlier.
Gauge? Yeah, that's gauge, gouge, whatever. Gauge.
Because behind Ron is the lake. And no, that is right after Snape's worst memory, probably.
At 1:08, we see a shot we've seen before: Tonks and Lupin reaching in to hold hands, but for some reason they never can quite get there. 1:10, we see a title card: Where It All Began. The card just before it says "It All Ends," so it all ends where it all began.
And then we finally get to see the thing shatter. I mean, we never really did in the other trailers. We just saw a big piece of light coming when the castle border gets shattered.
Shatters?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the bubble?
Yeah, the big bubble just getting...
Oh, yeah, the bubble just disappears, yeah.
Okay.
At 1:15, we see a shot of Flitwick, and he's surrounded by statues, so I guess he's kind of controlling there.
He looks afraid, though.
He does look afraid. I guess something's happening with the castle there.
Well, his charms are not working anymore, probably.
Yeah.
So he's like, my work's done, I'm gonna go run.
At 1:19, we see a shot of all the Death Eaters trying to penetrate the spell protecting the castle. However, at this scene, you don't see the spell. So I guess you really only start seeing it when it starts to be penetrated.
Yeah, when it starts hitting it. Yeah, that effect is really cool.
Or maybe it's their first strike. No, it has to be when they're penetrating it, because it's the same color. The spells are the same color as the dome was right before Voldemort smashed it.
At 123, we see Death Eaters running. Oh no, these are the good guys. No, bad guys.
Because the good guys didn't have giants. It was just
right. Okay.
Yeah.
Except Grop.
Yeah, Grop was he was the half giant.
The giant at 123 looks fantastic. I mean, he really does. And you see him running with the Death Eaters.
Looks a lot better than the Sorcerer's Stone one.
If I were Harry, I'd be more scared of that giant than Voldemort. Personally, he's got a big mallet sort of thing. He could kill anybody with.
That's what Voldemort should have looked like.
Yeah, really. Voldemort should have been a giant. At 124, we see a shot that Micah loves so much he made it the MuggleNet big news image. It's Lucius kind of running away but turning back, and you also see Draco just over his head if you look closely. Now, what scene is this? I'm forgetting. Is this
You're forgetting?
This must be after Harry kills Voldemort.
Is this when they go back to meet up with Voldemort?
This is after Harry kills Voldemort, right? Because it's
no.
The sunrise?
No, Voldemort's alive. Voldemort actually thinks Harry is dead, and he's just recruited people. And the Malfoys say that they're with him, and they walk away. Because Voldemort thinks he's got victory right now. So actually, if I remember correctly, a lot of the Death Eaters actually disapparate at that point. I could be wrong. Some of them do. Well, either way, the Malfoys walk away.
Yeah, because his mother's next to Draco.
Yeah, Narcissa's got like her arm around Draco, and the Malfoys, it's like exit stage right.
At 126, 127, we see Voldemort. He's kind of got like these cloth things floating around him.
Oh, you totally skipped though the thousands of Dementors.
We've seen that before.
It looks like
have we seen that? I have never seen that before.
Okay, maybe we haven't.
Dead giant on the bridge.
At 125, we see we see a dead giant and Dementors kind of flying over all these dead people. I mean, this really gives you a good idea of the level of detail that's going to be in this
You've never
battle.
seen this many Dementors either.
And actually, 126 is a behind-the-scenes shot of Voldemort doing his laundry. He's like washing it. He's actually air drying his robes.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, I don't get. Eric, do you know what's going on here, or Micah?
Well, Eric's seen the movie. I mean, is Harry here at this point?
He's laundering his robes. I mean, we don't see Harry in the shot. He's not.
Yeah,
in
he
the
must
shot.
be laundering his robes. I think Eric's right there.
That is so just awkward.
At 1:27:28, I'm going to play a little audio clip here.
Tell them how it happened that night. How you looked him in the eye. A man who trusted you and killed him.
Great line. And so that takes place in the Great Hall. Harry is confronting Snape point blank. The most interesting thing that stands out to me here, and I noticed this at the test screening too, is that Harry's wearing a cloak, and you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah, it's true. So, well, they handed him a cloak, I guess, on their way down to this. So Snape hears that Harry's in the castle. He calls this meeting because he's still headmaster, and they actually hand Harry a robe on the way down. Somebody just gives him a robe so that he can blend in.
So he blends in, but is he really blending in? I mean,
well, no. Because he stands out because he gets irritated with Snape. But this moment, more than any other moment in any other Harry Potter film, I'm predicting here, really is going to sell. First of all, Dan Radcliffe is Harry Potter. Second is going to sell these films as being, emotional and heart-wrenching. This moment is Dan Radcliffe's and Harry's shining moment in all of the films. Mm-hmm. When he actually confronts this tyranny of Alan Rickman as Snape. And of course it's in the trailer.
Perfect. Oh, it's great.
Well, of course there's more to it in the actual movie.
You also see the trio and the Order is right behind him.
Yes.
And you see Snape disappear. In response to Harry's...
But this was in the book, though, was it?
What?
No, probably not.
No, I don't think so.
No, the scene wasn't even in the book.
But it's good. It's good because it kicks off this new set of action when we see Harry rebelling within the castle, and now he has to get out. And we see, of course, Snape getting out too. And this is an alternative to in the book when there's the fight in a random corridor, right? And, I'll save my thoughts on this for when everybody sees the film, but I'll just say right now, I would have preferred they kept what happened in the book. But, okay.
But that's usually the general consensus with all fans.
True. So after Harry makes that line, we see a flashback to Snape killing Dumbledore, which refreshes the audience on what, kind of has been building up here. At 134, I think we see one of the greatest shots, 133, of Voldemort. He's casting the spell at Harry, and he's clearly putting in all his energy into this Avada Kedavra spell.
You can tell because
clearly
his
losing.
scream. You can tell because of his scream.
And I think he's already down on his knees.
Yeah, maybe.
So you can tell he's losing. The only advantage here, he does have freshly laundered clothes, so at least he's, feeling fresh. Despite losing this battle. At 136, we see a great shot of Molly Weasley, and I assume this is after Fred has died, because she's very disturbed. She's kind of, she's thinking to herself.
Yeah.
Well, Madame Pomfrey is right next to her.
Is she?
Oh, yeah, you can hardly see her, but she is there. So this must have been after the battle.
This must have been after she killed She Who Shall Not Be Named.
Mm-hmm. At 140, this is where I think people started saying, okay, we're seeing too much. We see Harry in the Forbidden Forest. He's facing his mother. Got Lupin and Sirius on the right, James on the left. Let's play a little audio from this part.
You'll stay with me.
Always.
Until the end.
So that's what people were like, no, why are we seeing this?
As much as this is I would probably say it's my favorite scene in the 7th book, is the Resurrection Stone scene. And as excited as I was the first time I saw it, I kind of wish they didn't show this.
On the other hand, though, it's not a spoiler to people who haven't read the books because they look alive. I wouldn't say they look dead.
No,
so
I'd say if anything, it's a teaser to fans who have not read the books because they're like, wait, what?
Oh, that's true, because they know Sirius and Harry's parents are dead and all.
Right, so they're like, why are they back?
But it's confusing because they don't see Lupin. They're like, wait, Lupin's dead?
Well, the other thing too, this is Harry's most personal moment in the books. To see it on a trailer and not reserved for the film. Like, is nothing sacred? Like, really? Can they not just keep that in the film and be content to...
Well, they kept, I think, the most sacred scene under wraps, and that's King Cross.
Yeah, that's true. But that also tonally, it doesn't really fit the rest of the film because, and visually because it's bright white and these films are all about black.
Right. Well, they've shown basically every character in this trailer except Dumbledore.
It's ridiculous. You know what they should do is, how they released all those promo posters with, Bella and McGonagall and all them? They need to do, for the Resurrection Stone scene, they need a Lupin poster, they need a dead Sirius poster, dead Lily and James poster for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows
What does it say? We're back?
Yeah, that's what it's gonna say. Cause why not? Because they've already shown them in a trailer. They might as well go all out. And, cause you know what? I want to buy, a Lily and James poster.
Mm-hmm. It is really great though that they inserted that little clip from Sirius saying till the end. Because, basically you see in this entire trailer, like, everything going to pot. Like, everything's going to complete crap. And then all you see, and then you finally get to have Lily and Sirius kind of, the reassuring faces say something that's a little uplifting.
You're very right.
And we also, the one thing we skipped over before this is, it looks like Goyle is falling into the fiend fire.
Yeah, it sucks to be him.
Yeah.
What's he doing as he's falling? He's wailing.
It's the same Voldemort scream.
At 144, we see, this must be the realization shot when they see Hagrid holding Harry's dead body because Ginny's running forward, obviously very shocked at what she's seeing, and Mr. Weasley is kind of, I guess, trying to he's trying to grab her and hold her back because, don't want to get too close to Voldemort yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At 144, we see a pretty cool shot of the trio running away from some giant spiders. And, I don't think we get any line like, oh, I still hate spiders from Ron.
I was going to say, do you think
Ron would overcome... let's get the hell out of here.
Do you think Ron would overcome his fear of spiders?
I think he's seen enough.
He's running away from him, so.
Well, though we do see,
you're not gonna face down something. It's 15 times your size.
Well, during the locket, we did see spiders, so his fear of spiders is still intact.
Oh, right. Good point. Good, solid point.
146, we see the giant Voldemort firehead in the room of requirement as the doors are shutting. It's kind of a cool transition for the trailer, because this is sort of another break in the trailer where another set of action starts off.
It's a 3-headed Voldemort.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, the Fiend Fire in the film takes different forms, but without spoiling and saying what they are, this I believe is after the Horcrux has been thrown into the Fiend Fire, that Voldemort's face comes out of it. So it's not like if you were to go in the middle of a field and cast Fiend Fire, you'd get fire that comes out with Voldemort's face on it.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's not like that.
Yeah. Because didn't we see like a lion or something in a previous trailer?
The previous trailer showed a lion and a badger. So or a snake. So you know that the Fiend Fire does take the form of...
it's magical fire, so it's probably taken, like, all forms.
Yeah, like Raging Bull of Fire. It's really cool, but... Voldemort is not one of the natural animals of the earth. This is after the Horcrux has been destroyed. I don't know who's closing the door. I mean, there's two very kamikaze-style house elves who are behind the doors closing them.
I hope not.
To protect Harry.
It's the room of requirement. When no one's in the room of requirement, it closes.
Does that mean that the fire... Oh, right. Okay.
147, we get this line from Harry to Voldemort.
Come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started. Together!
And it kicks off another set of action. I'm still not a fan, for the record, of this let's clutch him by the neck and pull him overboard.
I don't think any fans are real. I mean, I feel like this is going to be that one scene that everyone just cringes when they see it. It's like
the reason that I agree with you, Matt, but the reason is that they've shown it in every single one of these trailers. So not only in the first trailer were people like, oh my god, what's happening? He's pulling him off a ledge. That wasn't in the book.
Well, the whole thing about... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I think also one of the reasons why fans are just not happy with that is because Harry's not supposed to touch Voldemort.
But I mean, I made my case for it in previous shows where I said that the idea that on film everything has to be slightly more realistic, where these arch enemies, the fact that they're in close proximity to each other makes it more exciting. But the fact that Warner Brothers has shown this in every trailer where Harry's pulling him out just draws more attention to the fact that it wasn't in the book. Well, and what's getting lost is this line that Harry says, which is in this trailer, but by this point, people who've seen him are just not paying it any attention. It's actually a really good line, to finish this where we started it together. And, I feel like that's a fitting line for when you're gonna wrap your arms around somebody's neck and throw them off a cliff.
Now, is this scene with them jumping off the cliff, is this the same time when Voldemort grabs Harry's face and says, "Why do you live?" Because I'm afraid they're going to overexpose the whole close proximity of Harry and Voldemort, because that's what, in the books at least, that's what everyone was waiting for, is when they finally meet. And I'm just worried in the movie they're just going to have way too much of it, and then people get desensitized by how close Harry and Voldemort have interaction with each other.
That's a good point.
Because it's a pivotal part in the books when Harry approaches Voldemort and they duel. Like, it doesn't happen that often.
Well, I would argue that the distance, when Harry goes to Voldemort, are you talking about in the end at the forest?
The forest too, but also in the castle.
Yeah.
Because, Harry has his grand resurrection scene in the book it was the Great Hall, now it's the courtyard. But, those are really the only two parts where Harry and Voldemort ever were face to face in at least that half of book 7.
Well, in both those scenes, wasn't it really about, though, that Harry and Voldemort were quite a ways away from each other, but that they were talking to each other anyway. Like when Harry approaches Voldemort in the forest, he's coming from the clearing, he's coming into the clearing, and Voldemort's at the other end of it, and all the Death Eaters are in between them, and there's this pregnant air, where it's like thin air, nothing, there's like no space between them, but there is. So it's like, all the Death Eaters are waiting to see what Voldemort does, because Harry's come. And in the Great Hall, everybody's watching Harry and Voldemort talk to each other. They're on a first name basis, but they're still, in order to duel, they're standing quite a way away from each other, aren't they?
Well, yeah,
Let's continue this discussion when we actually see it, because we're going to be talking about this like crazy when the movie actually comes out. So,
okay.
And we can give it more context when we see the actual scene. You guys are doing good. I'm just saying we're going to be talking about this a million times, so let's save it for when we actually see the movie.
But Matt's right. Yeah, I mean, wasn't one of the first promo posters or promo pictures of Voldemort grabbing Harry's face?
Yeah,
it was. Yep.
Well, yeah, I mean, and I think it goes back, like Eric was saying, we talked about in past shows, as it being sort of the Hollywood element to it, where you constantly need to have that big epic battle. Right. Where you're talking about having the fight take place all over Hogwarts.
I agree. It adds some tension when you see them touching, but just book-wise, it doesn't.
Right. Oh, I'm nothing against him, like, grabbing his face or anything. I just want it to be in the right place. I don't want it to be, like, prolonged throughout the film.
Yeah, that's fair.
155, speaking of Harry and Voldemort, we see them dueling within Hogwarts. Voldemort is high up on some steps, whereas Harry is lower down the steps.
Oh, wow.
At 156, there's a cool close-up shot of Voldemort really trying to put his energy into his spell.
He crinkles his non-nose. Look at that.
Yeah, I know.
In concentration. That's awesome.
At 159, we see a new shot of Horace Slughorn putting up his protective charm on the castle. And in the film, it's cool because you see, like, all the teachers together putting up the spells. So it goes from McGonagall to Slughorn to Flitwick to Pomfrey.
So it is a protective charm.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought it was like a Patronus.
No, he's putting up the charm. At 2 minutes, there's a shot, and this is another one where I think people were like, too much. Bellatrix sending the spell at Molly, and at 2:0, it's actually, they're actually pretty separated, so we'll get to it in a second. We'll see Bellatrix's response to that spell in a second. At 2:03, we see in the Chamber of Secrets when Ron and Hermione are being chased by the giant water Voldemort figure.
Whoa! Totally missed that. Yeah, these scenes, barely any. Yeah, I missed that. Watching it, I didn't. Well, no, I mean, I didn't really, and I don't think even in the trailer you can tell that that's what's happening.
Right.
It's just chaos.
I think has to do with a lot of the trailer entirety, because, only hardcore fans are going to go shot by shot of all these trailers and then realize, oh my god, they showed way too much. But if you just saw the trailer in a film, or like in a movie trailer in the theater, you wouldn't have caught a lot of this stuff.
Well, I think the exception is, though, the dialogue, because a lot of these shots don't have any dialogue. So when there is dialogue, and a lot of it's title cards. So when there is dialogue, it's important. The fact that they chose to make the dialogue in this movie be the most pivotal moments, like the Resurrection Stone scene and Harry confronting Snape, is what I'm disappointed about.
Mm-hmm.
2:05, there's a shot many people are actually wondering about. It's who is casting the Patronus.
What is it? That's a Patronus?
Well,
I think it kind of connects to movie 3.
Or it looks like
with the Patronus being like the ultimate shield.
Because we do see it push away all the Dementors.
Mm. Well, it doesn't help that in the split second before that happens, Voldemort is like conjuring something. His arms are like in, and he spreads his arms out like rah. And
I think we get a better shot of it towards the end of the trailer, but it looks like Lucius.
Yes, really? Or my guess could be Aberforth, but why would it be Lucius? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think you might be right, Andrew. It might be.
It's Aberforth.
It might be Aberforth because the hair looks just like.
It does look long, but it almost looks Lucius long, and the cloak he's wearing looks like a Lucius cloak. But it
could be Xenophilius.
Does Apple have the high def trailer available?
Yeah, I'm looking at the 1080, but it doesn't help.
we need a 2160p.
It's.
I think it is at the end of the trailer, though. If we get there,
it's definitely an order member.
You see the spell itself.
Okay, so at 207 is when we got a badass shot of Molly Weasley. Give it up for Molly Weasley. We see her sending a spell, I guess, at Bellatrix.
What are you, bitch?
Yeah, no, it's definitely the Killing Curse.
Yeah, because
it's
there's
green.
that green flame. And it cuts to a shot of Voldemort, kind of to make you think Molly's shooting it at Voldemort, but we all know that's not the case.
He deflects it with his mind.
208, there's a shot of, it looks like Mr. Weasley with Kingsley behind him, shooting a spell, probably at a Dementor or Voldemort, but. And then, cool shot at 210, the camera slowly creeping in as Voldemort is crawling to the Elder Wand, and then it cuts to Harry at 212, and we see he too is crawling to it, to get the wand. And
that's cool.
A couple more dueling shots between Harry and Voldemort. Dragon. Harry shooting a spell around a corner.
Tonks getting killed.
There's a lot of action.
Voldemort
here,
apparating.
Voldemort apparating. Now, Micah, where did you say, what were you talking about? The person. We see Nagini, too, at 2:15 with Voldemort. Nagini kind of wraps up with Voldemort for an escape.
Well, he's waiting for Nagini to come to him so they can both apparate together. Because at this point, she hasn't been, of course, she hasn't been killed, so. And Harry hasn't been dead yet. So this is very early on to the battle.
Michael, what were you talking about with
you know what I was talking about actually, is when he actually casts the spell, you see it go out and hit all the Dementors. That's what I was talking about. So it is a Patronus of some sort.
Okay.
Like Matt was saying.
And we get the title, and that's it. That's the final trailer for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. It was kind of a surprise. We weren't really expecting the second trailer, but we did get it. And
we really did get it.
Everybody loved it. It really got people excited. And I thought, again, it told a great story. We understood why it all ends here. We understand Voldemort's anger, what Harry is fighting for. Harry says somewhere in the trailer, I don't want anyone to die for me. It's just very emotional. So let's continue on now with other news. There were some news stories.
There's more.
Not as big as the trailer in Pottermore, but there were other things, Micah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff related to the trailer, though. To the movie. Actually, today, we learned that Deathly Hallows Part 2 has been rated PG-13, and we kind of found that out in a roundabout way. There was a TV spot that aired last night, and in that TV spot at the end, you hear that voice say that this film is rated PG-13.
Rated PG-13.
And so, I guess that's a giveaway. Even though the MPAA has not officially posted it yet on their site.
No surprise there.
That's the rating that it's going to ultimately get. And the BBFC, though, has posted it on their site. The film will be rated 12A, which is the PG-13 equivalent in the UK.
All right, what else is going on in the news?
The other big piece of news concerning Deathly Hallows Part 2 is that it's going to be the shortest of the entire series in terms of
length.
The length of the film, 125 minutes. But when you think about it, though, and I'm usually one who's really critical of the films, but when you think about it, 2 hours and change kind of makes sense. It is another half of a movie.
In all honesty, it's a 5-hour film.
Exactly.
4.5. If you want to get exact about it, but
why do you think people get upset about this?
Because I wrote in the headline, "Film is shortest of the 8."
Like as if that was.
But again, I brought this up. I think during the test screening episode, 2 hours does feel good. It does not feel rushed. It doesn't feel too short. It doesn't feel too long. It's just right. It's like porridge. It's, at the right temperature. It's just right.
Baby Bear's porridge.
Baby Bear's porridge. It's just right. And 2.5 hours would have dragged it out. Honestly, I was watching this test screen and being like, all right, let's go. Come on.
Maybe the music will help speed things up.
Yeah.
Pace-wise.
Yeah. We're not saying it was
fine, slow, but it is 2 hours dedicated to strictly the Battle of Hogwarts.
Exactly. And that's why it feels like porridge.
What more could you want, though? I mean, there's only so much that's left in the book.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I would have had asked for anything else to be longer, I would have said the epilogue.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which also we haven't seen anything.
Right. Oh, yeah, you guys. So
because they look
put
creepy.
That in your pipe and smoke
They look
it.
creepy. They don't look right.
What else is going on in the news?
Well, we mentioned the TV clip, but there was also another clip that aired at the MTV Movie Awards. Andrew, Matt, you guys were both there. It's a pretty now this, you want to talk about putting stuff out there that people probably don't want to see. This was a shot of a full shot of Harry entering the forest to confront Voldemort and him actually getting hit with the spell. You see Hagrid tied up by Death Eaters, and again, a little surprising to reveal that.
But we've seen this clip before. The only thing that was really new was the shot of Hagrid saying, "Harry, no!" which was great. But a lot of that, the walk up, that we've seen that before.
Well, he does get hit with the spell.
Right.
In this too.
Oh, okay.
You don't see that before.
But,
Harry dead.
Harry dead. Yeah, it was good. I'm glad there was some presence for Harry Potter at the MTV Movie Awards. And by the way, it won. The only thing that it did win was Best Villain, and that went to Tom Felton, who was there
for a character who was in
Tom
all
Felton?
but 5 minutes of the movie.
What were the contenders? Because there's
it was Twilight and
Twilight.
And listen,
Twilight.
But
Actually,
here's the
no.
thing. Here's the thing. Twilight won because the fans went out and voted. There were the
More
official summit really went on to their Twitter and Facebook and said, "Hey, everybody vote, everybody vote." Warner Brothers didn't really do that. Maybe they don't care, and that's fine. But people are wondering why Twilight wins. It's just because more people are voting.
Right. Well, I think it's also a hopeless cause, really, at this point with the MTV Movie Awards, because, I mean, Warner Brothers doesn't want to, say, vote for us, because they know they're not going to win.
That's not true.
They
can win if they get more votes.
No, but they win if they get more votes, obviously, but
they don't care because it's the MTV Movie Awards.
Right. It's honestly just to promote other things that MTV is affiliated with.
What else is going on?
Well, I think it's the audience, too. I mean, you look at MTV's audience and what, it's pretty similar, I would think, to the audience that reads Twilight. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but people look at the MTV Movie Awards and they say, "Oh, best movie. How could Twilight win that?" Well, because people are voting. The MTV Movie Awards aren't like the Oscars where it's like this group of people, group of 50 people who get to decide. It's the actual fans who are voting. And there were more Twilight fans who voted because Summit pushed it more.
Well, also because a lot of the fans vote for who they want to see come up to accept the award. And they want to see Robert Pattinson and Taylor Lautner come up.
Right, the Twilight fans want to see Robert Pattinson come up more.
No, they're heartthrobs. That's why teenage fangirls want to see. That's what they want to see.
Twilight fans want to see Robert Pattinson! Harry Potter fans want to see Dan Radcliffe!
Oh, okay. Fine. I can't talk to you about this.
What else is going on in the news?
Other bit of news, during a contest announcement, we found out when the U.S. premiere of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 will be taking place on Monday, July the 11th.
Party!
And it's in New York City. We already knew that, but I'm assuming, and Andrew, what's the name of the theater that they always go to?
But that wasn't, for Part 1, it was not at the Ziegfeld. It was somewhere else.
It was in Lincoln Center.
Yeah. So we don't know where this one's going to be. But hopefully somewhere where they can actually shut off the street so the stars can go meet the fans along the red carpet. That would be nice.
The only time they had a problem was when they did it at Lincoln Center, right? I mean, at the Ziegfeld they closed it off, the street?
Yes.
Or it was arranged so that there was room for fans to meet actors.
Yeah, they need to figure it out so the street can actually be shut down.
It'll probably be back there, I would think. I mean, probably they just couldn't get the theater for the time of the year that Deathly Hallows Part 1 was released.
That's true.
Because of all those Christmas concerts.
And speaking of Deathly Hallows Part 2, even more news, the soundtrack list was released earlier this week. Has anybody taken a listen to it?
It's not out
actually
yet.
Any it's just the names of the songs.
But it
not the little
But it gives you an idea of the layout of the film. It starts with Lily's theme, so you know that it's going to start with Lily. with that shot, just like the trailer did.
Wow.
Or no. Does that make sense, Eric?
No, it didn't. We didn't even see her talking to Harry in the preview that I remember.
No, we did during Snape's.
No, we didn't. This is when Voldemort's downstairs. She's trying to prepare Harry, but it's new to me. But the fact that it opens with Lily's theme, it could be direct because Lily's actually appearing on screen, or it could just be Mr. Desplat's misleading us, or the idea that he's trying to tell a love story, and it is a love story between Lily and Snape. That Lily's theme would just be the name of the generic overall theme that they're going to play iterations of during Snape's Worst Memory.
I think that's exactly what it is. It's just an encompassing theme that they will show throughout the film, especially with Snape's Worst Memory, but we will get probably a taste of it in the opening scene with Lily protecting Harry.
The soundtrack, by the way, will be released July 12th.
Sweet.
No, I want it before that.
Although, actually, I did want to mention these other track listings, some of them. First of all, the Grey Lady. So she's got her own track, which shows that that's going to be at least a big enough scene to have one of those.
With CeeLo?
In the Chamber of Secrets, in the Chamber of Secrets has its own soundtrack.
Is that a rap? In the Chamber?
Well, because there's already a track called The Chamber of Secrets from the second book, or from the second film, so that's probably why they had to kind of tweak it a bit.
Also,
that's a pretty suggestive title.
Broomsticks and Fire, and also Courtyard Apocalypse. So that's probably my favorite title.
That is cool.
Other than Showdown. 23 is just called Showdown.
I think the last title is kind of cheesy, though.
A New Beginning?
A New Beginning. How about the epilogue? Or Scar?
How about 19 years later?
How about All Was Well? That would have been good.
Yeah,
I like
really.
Scar.
How about Pottermore?
All right, Micah. Pottermore.
It's the last thing Harry says. Pottermore.
All right, switching gears here to video games. Lego Harry Potter Years 5 to 7 was previewed at E3, the big video game and electronics convention, last week, actually, or maybe even 2 weeks ago at this point, and it got an overwhelmingly positive review just from some different features that it has as compared to years 1 to 4. So no real surprise there, but good to hear that in the early stages it's getting positive.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yep.
I don't know. Books 1 through 4 were really good.
And Micah, the last news story of this gigantic news episode.
Yes, the Ultimate Editions for Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince were released on June the 15th, I think, or is that right?
June 14th, Tuesday.
Close enough. You did a
little
bit of a review. You saw them. You liked them.
Yeah,
they were good.
I mainly just watched the documentaries because, again, we've talked about this a lot. There's a new part of this 8-part documentary with each Ultimate Edition. The most interesting thing was in the Evolution documentary. That was probably one of the best ones to date. Lots of great archival footage. But Chris Columbus says that he wanted to split Book 1 into 2 films, and he said the first film would end after Harry's first Quidditch match. Like, I cannot believe they were actually considering splitting the books that early on.
It's shocking.
If they started with Sorcerer's Stone, they would have had to split them all.
Well, yeah, it's true. Well, I think, though, that you have to consider, what kind of a technical achievement it is to actually have to create Hogwarts. I think, in thinking that, he was just thinking about how much work had to be done to actually produce a film version of these books, because they're so wonderful, they're so monstrous, and also, by that point, maybe he didn't know how he would begin to cut stuff, and actually mold it into a film, and not just follow the whole book page by page.
Thank God they didn't split it, though.
Yeah.
The timing would have been so bad.
That would have also hurt the franchise for for putting more of the books into films. Because
I agree.
I don't think the public would have let it go as long as it did if each movie was in 2 parts.
Well, plus the actors would be so old.
Yeah. Well. I guess it would have taken longer to film all that, so they would have aged more. That's true. Okay, well, that is all the news we have. To wrap up the show, we have some tweets from those of you who follow us on the MuggleCast Twitter, which is twitter.com/MuggleCast. We recently passed 20,000 followers, by the way. So thank you to everybody who follows us there on twitter.com/MuggleCast. Of course, everybody, like I was saying earlier, was lighting up Twitter with their thoughts on the trailer and Pottermore. We'll start with some tweets about Pottermore. Reading Bridget said, "My main question about Pottermore is why is the teaser website logo all futuristic and metallic looking? How does that fit HP?" So Bridget is really digging deep, looking for any clues possible.
I don't think it's very futuristic, unless she means that it being metallic means it's futuristic, but the font's pretty magical.
Well, the font is whimsical. The font is distinctly not the Harry Potter font, though. Why would you name a website Pottermore and not use the Potter, the font that is established, that is so cool,
But I think it is kind of whimsical.
It's very like Wizarding World. It's just not Harry Potter strictly font from the books, but I think that's mainly because they're trying to show that there is kind of something besides Harry Potter that's going to be encompassed in this. It's going to be like something more of the Wizarding World rather than just Harry Potter himself. You're talking about the more as opposed to the Potter part of Pottermore? Yeah, it's encompassing more than Potter.
Cool.
AJ Roller says, "I'm thinking Pottermore is most likely going to be an online HP encyclopedia, but I'm hoping for some kind of MMORPG in Hogwarts. A MMORPG is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. I used to play one of those. It was called The Sims Online. You
played The Sims?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What was your family's name?
Oh, it was pathetic. But in The Sims Online, you can only play as one person. I was Cletus Pudum. I made up that name for some reason. I really liked the name Cletus Pudum. Don't ask. An MMORPG is an interesting idea because you play with other people in an online world, so it would almost be like you live within Hogwarts in an online world. And there had been rumors about an MMORPG for a long time with Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You've even said they should do that, right? Like Grand Theft Dragon, was it? Or Grand Theft Hogwarts?
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting. It would, World of Warcraft is so popular, and it's based on fantasy and magic. So, a Harry Potter one is an interesting idea.
Yeah. Pottercraft.
Natalie Xelane1 says, "There are so many possibilities for Pottermore. The whole situation seems unreal. I love the way Joe announced it. I'm excited."
Is there a question in here?
No, it's a comment.
Oh, it's just a comment. Okay.
And, I agree. It's so exciting to get a new announcement from Joe. I mean, when's the last time we got an announcement from Joe? It was like the Deathly Hallows title, right? So it's been like 4 years.
Oh, well, no, she announced her Twitter.
That's not.
She didn't tweet anything.
Ange Marr has actually a negative comment about Pottermore. She says, "Pottermore, slant face. I'm not excited until I know what it is. Trailer, amazing."
Well, do you think that this is the pen and paper that Joe talked about on her Twitter? That she kept referencing? That it's this project, Pottermore?
I don't know. I mean, I would really hope so.
Because she said pen and paper, and
right.
if it's
so
online, it distinctly does not involve pen or paper.
Well, just because it's online, I mean, everything is online. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be strictly an online.
Okay, but that means it's digital, though. If it's online, it's digital.
No. Oh no, if it's online, okay, yeah, the website's online, but there's also YouTube. So I mean, it really.
Okay,
I mean. What other way could she promote this besides it being on the internet?
Yeah, that's a good point. So, well, then my final question, about Pottermore is, if it's gonna be part YouTube, part, content on site, if it's gonna be fan interactive, is it really, is it healthy to have all these fans living on this new Pottermore website? I mean, to be honest, I was thinking of starting to eat healthier, get more exercise once Harry Potter ends, and instead, I'm gonna set this as my homepage and really start delving into the forums because I'm obsessed. That's what I do.
For all we know, she could probably just abandon the website and the YouTube thing once it's announced. If it has nothing to do with really an online community. Yeah, it was just...
Matt saying Pottermore.com and the YouTube are only to announce.
So it could be something.
I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying that could be a possibility.
Pottermore. Yeah.
Brianna Mock says, "The trailer was pure genius. It was pretty sad, though. I felt like my childhood is actually coming to an end. Julia is Magic says, the trailer had me hyperventilating and crying. It's really getting everyone excited for the final film.
The trailer has never had that effect on me. Hyperventilating?
QR Alex said, the new trailer was epic and awesome, hands down best one yet, except for that terribly annoying Voldemort scream.
Yes!
Leah Cata Lopez says, that trailer was designed to make you cry. The part in the forest with Lily and the others was heartbreaking. I agree, Leah.
It was heartbreaking. It's just, it was only 2 seconds long, so.
Tom Wilshaw says, Harry says, I have to go back, don't I? Then someone else says, it's a suicide mission. That kind of reveals what happens.
Does Harry say that?
I do hear somebody say it's a suicide mission.
Yeah, it's Aberforth saying it to Harry when he's saying he has to go back to Hogwarts.
Alex D336 writes, the new trailer showed way too many new scenes. Wish I didn't see it. And finally, Kyle James 182 says, the trailer was not what I was expecting. When they show Lily, I cried. The part I don't get is the big Bloom dome blast. Thoughts?
The big blue dome blast.
Protective trauma around Hogwarts? Is that what she's talking about?
No, you're talking about the Patronus.
I think she... Yeah, Aberforth. I think that's what we were talking about earlier.
The big Patronus. I'm actually really happy about that, though, because it really connects all the films together, strictly because...
You know what that means?
What does it mean?
That means that there's a goat in the movie.
No. There might not be. Oh, no, there is a goat in the movie. That's right, at Hogsmeade.
Well, I'm saying his Patronus is a goat.
His Patronus is a goat, but he does produce a Patronus goat in Hogsmeade to get the trio into the Hogshead.
That's true.
Cool. Okay, to wrap up the show today, we have a couple reminders. We have some updates about LeakyCon 2011. It's the conference being held in Orlando, Florida, over the release of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. The Leaky Mug is going to be taking place the Thursday of the conference at 3 p.m. The MuggleCast will be on Friday at 4 p.m. That MuggleCast will, of course, be our big movie review show. We will have it online after we record it. We know people are going to be itching to hear our thoughts. And we're, of course, going to be including the thoughts of everybody who was there at the MuggleCast, because we're going to have a microphone. People can come up and, rebut different things, cry along with everybody else, all that good stuff. You can also buy your tickets now for Deathly Hallows Part 2. This is kind of a news item, but if you would like to buy your tickets, we couldn't make it easier on MuggleNet.com. There's a banner literally right at the top of the website. And you just click it, and you can purchase your tickets through Fandango for midnight showings, as well as screenings taking place July 15th onward.
Cool.
And finally, Dear Mr. Potter... update. Micah, could you give us that one, please?
Yeah, sure. Dear Mr. Potter has opened their pre-orders. They've been open for a while now, but for people who don't know what the book is, Andrew and Eric, you guys both contributed letters to this, as has Melissa over at Leaky. And it's really stories about how the Potter series has impacted your life, right? And what it's meant to you over the course of the last several years. And
it's
good.
I got a preview. Well, I got a PDF version of it to review. It's really well done. I mean, just visually, they did a great job with designing it. Also, Vanna Lynch wrote a letter too, and she actually doesn't address Mr. Potter. She addresses Luna. So she writes to Luna, which is actually really funny because, of course, she's the actress who plays Luna in the film. So it's really well written. Definitely check it out. What's the website?
That's a good question. But I will look that up.
I think it's
dearmrpotter.org, isn't it?
.org, yes. And what's good about the website actually is that anyone can write in. It runs on Tumblr, so anybody can submit their own letter and it'll be posted there on the website. So it's fun to just visit dearmrpotter.org to see letters from everyone, even ones that haven't been published in the book.
Yeah, and all the proceeds are benefiting the Harry Potter Alliance, and the book officially goes on sale on July 1st, but of course you can pre-order at the website.
It'll be on sale at LeakyCon too, and it's like the best way I can describe it, it's like a chicken soup kind of book. The chicken soup for the teenage soul, all that stuff. This is like a Harry Potter one. Definitely check it out.
It's a testament to the fact that we all know to be true, which is that Harry Potter changes lives.
And the other cool little piece of information is that 50 randomly selected pre-order books have a chance to win an autographed copy from Rupert Grint. So,
neat.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. It's like you said, it's also an inspiring book. I think when you read all the stories kind of together, as kind of how Harry Potter has changed their lives.
And finally, MuggleCast.com, the website you need for everything concerning this podcast that we put out every other week. You can click on Contact at the top to write in about anything that we've discussed on today's show. I know we didn't get to any emails this week, but we'll include them, of course, next week like we always do. Also, on the right side of MuggleCast.com, you'll find links to our iTunes, our Twitter, which is twitter.com/MuggleCast, our Facebook.com, our Facebook, which is facebook.com/MuggleCast, and our fan Tumblr, which is MuggleCast.tumblr.com. Thanks everyone for listening. It's been another great show. I'm Andrew Sims.
I'm Eric Skull.
I'm Mike Tannenbaum.
And I'm Matt Britton.
And we'll see you next time for episode 232. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Au revoir.